There is a rhythm to the universe. Just like breath enters and leaves the body, the earth also breathes through silence and through the storm. And just like a heartbeat must remain steady for the body to live, the balance between heaven and earth must remain steady for peace to endure. But when mankind forgets humility, forgets to listen, forgets to remain still in the face of their own greed, that is when the earth responds, not as punishment but as a correction, like a teacher gently but firmly placing the student back on the path when they've strayed too far. July 7, 2025 is not merely a date on the calendar. It is a reminder, a mirror held up to our actions. On this day, something beyond the noise of men has spoken, not with words, but with a trembling, a stirring, a disruption in the stillness of the world. And if we are wise, we will not run from that trembling. We will not be afraid of the shaking ground. Instead, we will sit still, we will breathe, and we will ask, why has this happened? The trembling of the earth is a message. When balance is disturbed by human arrogance, by our failure to protect what is sacred, the earth reminds us. It speaks not in sentences, but in silence, broken by movement. The shaking of the ground beneath our feet is not an accident. It is not chaos. It is a call to return, to remember. The earth, like the human spirit, seeks harmony. When ignored, it cries out. When wounded, it bleeds. When forgotten, it moves. Suddenly, powerfully, and without warning. But those who live in stillness are never surprised, because they felt it coming. They sensed the imbalance long before the earth reacted. They felt it in the silence of the forest. They saw it in the eyes of children growing up without wonder. They heard it in the noise of cities built too fast and souls moving too slow. The earth trembles when it can no longer absorb our ignorance. It shifts to awaken us, not destroy us. Like a bell struck in the temple, its vibration carries far and deep. But only those who are quiet within can truly hear its message. And what is the message? That we are guests here, not owners. That we are stewards, not masters. That every tree, every river, every gust of wind is a part of a delicate dance. And when we stop listening to the music, our steps become violent, our movements reckless, our impact devastating. July 7th is not the first time the earth has trembled, and it will not be the last. But it is a threshold. It will not be the last. But it is a threshold that will tell an infinity of time. It is a moment to pause and realize that we are at the edge of forgetting something vital. We have made progress in technology, but have regressed in humility. We speak loudly with machines, but cannot hear the quiet voice of conscience. We reach for the stars, but fail to respect the ground we walk on. So, when the earth trembles, let us not only react outwardly, building walls, blaming others, or escaping through distraction. Let us first react inwardly. Let us look into the core of our own being. Where have I lost my balance? What am I contributing to the shaking of this world? The trembling is not just physical, it is spiritual, it is emotional, it is ethical. The earth mirrors the collective state of our inner world. When we pollute our thoughts with fear, hatred, and division, that energy does not vanish. It seeps into everything. And that energy does not vanish. It seeps into everything, into the way we treat one another, into the choices we make, into the vibrations we send out into the fabric of existence. When the earth shakes, It is a reminder that every thought matters. Every intention leaves a mark. Every action echoes through space and time. On July 7, something ancient was stirred. Not a prophecy fulfilled, but a warning echoed. Not an end declared, but a path revealed. And that path leads inward, into the quiet, into the breath, into the still point between desire and awareness. There is a part of you that already knows this. The part that stops when the wind blows. The part that watches the stars in silence. The part that weeps at beauty and bows before truth. That part is being called to awaken. Because the trembling of the earth is not meant to create panic, it is meant to cultivate presence. A deep, grounded, unshakable presence that feels what others cannot feel, that hears what others dismiss, that sees what others overlook. The time has come not to predict the next trembling, but to prevent its cause. Not by building taller towers or faster networks, but by returning to the root of things, to the wisdom of balance, to the practice of listening, to the art of reverence, reverence for the soil beneath your feet, reverence for the air that fills your lungs, reverence for the stranger who walks beside you, reverence for the silence that speaks louder than words. The trembling of July 7 is not only external, it is also internal. It is the heart shaking awake. It is the soul being nudged to remember why it came here. It is the moment you stop running, stop pretending, stop numbing, and begin to feel again, fully, truthfully, deeply. The trembling is an invitation to remember who you are beneath the noise, beneath the distractions, beneath the roles and the masks. It is a call to align your life with something real, something rooted, something eternal. Let the ground shake. Let the illusions fall. Let the truth rise. And as it rises, may you rise with it. Not in fear, but in awareness. Not in panic, but in peace. Not in anger, but in awe. Because when the earth trembles, it is not the end of the world. It is the beginning of waking up. There is a deep misunderstanding in the modern world. Many seek to hear a divine voice, expecting thunder, fire, or miracles. But the sacred does not always shout. Sometimes the most powerful message comes in silence, in discomfort, or in the unexpected trembling of the world we thought we understood. On July 7, 2025, what spoke was not a man, not a ruler, not even a nation. What spoke was truth, the kind that moves through all things, invisible but undeniable. Understanding what spoke was truth, the kind that moves through all things, invisible but undeniable. It did not require translation. It could not be debated. It was a voice that spoke through the pulse of the earth itself. The earth, in its wisdom, does not use language the way we do. It moves, it responds, it mirrors. When it trembles, it is not to scare us, but to shake something loose from within us. An awakening, a remembrance, a return. And yet, this voice will only reach those who are willing to be quiet inside. It who are willing to stop blaming others and instead ask, what must I change within myself? Because the divine voice does not enter noisy hearts, it enters where there is stillness, discipline, and the courage to be honest with oneself. In the moment the ground shifted, many turned outward, toward data, toward fear, toward survival. Few turned inward. Few stopped and listened. Few asked if the trembling was not just geological, but spiritual. The world has been speaking gently for years, through the cries of nature, through the unrest of souls, through the imbalance felt by those who still feel. But humanity as a whole has forgotten how to listen. In the pursuit of convenience, we have drowned out the whispers of the divine. In the chase for more, we have silenced the wisdom of enough. In the noise of ambition, we have lost the song of purpose. But the same voice that shakes the mountains also whispers to the spirit, you can return. Return to purity. Return to compassion. Return to the path that honors not only the divine, but all living beings. That return begins not with rituals or beliefs, but with sincerity, with the willingness to sit quietly and allow the truth to rise. Not from outside, but from within. Because the voice that spoke on July 7 did not choose just prophets or kings. It chose everyone. It reached out to every soul that still had the capacity to feel, to question, to soften. And now, in the aftermath, the question is not whether the voice was real. The question is whether you are ready to live differently, to walk as if every step touches sacred ground, to speak as if every word plants a seed in another's heart, to think as if every thought shapes the world to come. It is now as if every thought shapes the world to come. There are many who will ignore this moment, who will wait for things to return to normal, who will distract themselves until the memory fades. But there are also those who will feel the deeper call, who will see July 7 not as an event, but as a doorway, a threshold between sleep and awakening, between reaction and transformation, between existence and essence. These individuals will not seek followers. They will not build temples of stone. Instead, they will build temples of stillness within themselves. They will carry the sacred into every act of daily life. They will become the embodiment of the message, not just the messenger. And their presence will become a healing vibration in a trembling world. This is the possibility offered by the voice that spoke through the trembling. Not domination, not fear, but transformation. A shift in how we live, love, and serve. A shift from survival to stewardship. From distraction to devotion. From chaos to clarity. But to access this shift, something must die. The part of us that clings to control, the part that resists change, the part that believes the world revolves around our comfort, that part must be surrendered, not with violence, but with understanding. And the only way out is with reverence, with humility. Because the divine voice does not force, it invites. It waits. And then when the soil of the soul is ready, it plants a seed. That seed is now in you. The earth has trembled, the message has been delivered, the rest is your choice. You can continue as before, hoping that the ground remains still, or you can begin to tremble from within, not with fear, but with recognition. Recognition that you are more than what you consume, more than what you own, more than what the world says you should be. You are a vessel for something eternal. You are a mirror for the sacred. You are the answer to the very question you've been asking. The world does not need more noise, it needs more depth. It needs more humans who are willing to listen before they speak, to pause before they react, to reflect before they judge. This is the path of transformation. This is the way back to the root. It begins with one choice: to listen, not just once, but daily. Not just when the ground shakes, but when the heart whispers. It begins not just in crisis, but in quiet. That is when the divine speaks. And when it does not just want to be heard. It wants to be lived. Let the way you walk be a response. Let the way you breathe be a prayer. Let the way you treat others be the sermon. Because the earth has spoken. Now it is your turn.